Hi, welcome to Lori's Happy Stamps. This month we're doing the Welcome In Paper Pumpkin Kit for June 2023. We are creating 5 projects today using the kit, and while it would be handy to have these countryside corner dies, I am going to show you how you don't need those at all to create these. I also am not real thrilled with the sentiments that come with the kit. They're darling, but they're kind of limited in my thinking this time. So what I am using is the Go-To Greetings set, but you could use any kind of stamp set that you have. And remember, you have all of your past paper pumpkin sentiments that you can use as well. So let's get started. For the first project, I am going to be showing you these Scrappy Bits cards. And they look like this. And for, one goes this way and one goes this way. For these cards, you will need 3 of the card bases. You'll need 1 of the Calypso Coral. You'll need 1 of the Countryside Inn kind of looking piece. And you'll need 1 of the regular card bases, you know, these cards. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut 3/4 of an inch on all 3 pages. And I used all 3 cards at the same time in my trimmer. And so what you get is you get 11 pieces that are 5 1/4 or 5 1/2 by 3/4 of an inch. So when you've got those, I separated them. So I had the Night of Navy, I had the Calypso Coral, and I had the white piece, and I had them all lined up. So let's take a look at how I made these 2 cards. I have 2 card bases, and they are 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of white cardstock that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And I have a matte piece that is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And then I have a liner piece for the inside that is 4 by 5 1/4 inches. I'm going to use 1 of the tags from the kit, and I am going to use 2 of the strips of each color on each card. So I've done the same thing with this one. And then I have a bit of twine on this one and a bit of twine here. So exactly the same. So let me show you what I did to start. I'm not going to go through the whole process, but I'll get you started. So for this first card, I am going to use the landscape. And so I want to put my 3 3/4 by 5 inch piece this way. And what I will do is start with my first strip, and I'm going to glue it fully on this white piece at an angle like this. I just want to make sure that the ends are covered. You're going to trim off these extra bits when you're done. So I'm going to glue that piece on, then I will glue this piece on, and well, let's see, I made this so it was more like that angle. So you can do the angle any way you want. And this piece. And then I took and just, I always butt them up so that one end is right on the edge. And then I have these extra bits that I can add to more cards. And then I added this piece right here. So once I had those done, then I could start building on the this side. And so I just want to start building here. So I will do that and this and like this. And then you'll think, oh gosh, you're out of paper. But no, you trim those off and then you take the trimmed pieces and you lay them this way. So you really get like 6 cards out of the 3 card bases using this technique. So after you have that done and you've trimmed it all around, then you're going to glue it onto your mat, and then you'll glue your mat directly onto your card base like this. And then for the sentiment, I used the go-to greetings that I shared with you. And what I did is I folded this in half and used it for both cards, because what you do here is just take and use this flag as your center and cut that, then cut up to that line, cut up to the line, and you've got your flag, and then just cut this right here. And then I go back and just trim this out on my trimmer so it's nice and even. And then I have a flag for both of my cards. So that's cards 1 and 2. And very fun, very therapeutic to sit there and just put these on your cards. And actually, if you wanted to make this white piece smaller and maybe you wanted to have it be 3.5 by 4 3/4, then I could cut my strips down to 1/2 inch, and I could actually get even probably 2 more cards out of it. So you could get a total of 8 cards using the 3 card bases. All right, so the next card we're going to make, oh, and you noticed on this one I did a vertical one, and I just started at the top here and worked my way this way, then started on the bottom left, then the bottom right. Okay, so the next card looks like this, and what I have used for the circle is the 2 3/4 inch circle punch, and I just made a circle, and I stamped let's see, I'll put it right here. I stamped on it. I used the stems from the kit, and I used the vase from the kit. And again, I used the Thinking of You from the Go-To Greetings. I have a card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I have an old piece of DSP that is 4 by 5 1/4. And you could use either side of a piece that you like, but I'm using one side, and then I'm using a little 1/2 inch piece here. Is this a 1/2 inch or no, 3/4 of an inch? It's 3/4 of an inch by 4. and it'll be like the grounding piece right here. I'm using one of the labels from the kit, and then I am stamping the flowers from the kit, from the stamp set, and I'm just fussy cutting around them. And yeah, this is 2 3/8. So all I did was take my card base and glue my paper, glue my designer series paper right on top of it, like this. And then once I had my circle, where did I put that? Oh, here it is. I glued that one straight flat. It's all flat. And then I glued my piece of designer series paper flipped upside down on top of that, so that it goes right to the bottom of the vase. And then I added my little flowers with dimensionals here. And that's it for the outside. And then for the inside, what I did is I took one of the extra strips that I had from the 3 card bases that I cut up, and I glued it right onto the inside of the card, which tied it together nicely. So that is card number 2. Now, here we go. This card is a Thinking of You card, and it has a pocket, and it has a bookmark in it, and you could write on the back of it. And the way I made this card is, of course, it would be easy to use the Countryside corner dies and use the, I don't know what size it is, the second to the largest octagon. But what if you don't have that set and you want to get that shape? Well, I'm going to share with you how to use these as templates. So you have the smaller one here, and that's what we're going to use right now. And then we're going to use the larger one for our next card. So what you want to do, if you don't have the Countryside in, what are they called? Countryside Corners dies, you are going to start with a piece of designer series paper, and you're going to actually use this as a template. It doesn't matter whatever designer series paper you want to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tip off of my Take a Pick tool, and I'm going to use this this end of my Take a Pick tool. And what I will do is I'm going to just go and follow these lines around with my knobby end. And what you get, this is hard to do with a camera in your face. It was much easier without a camera, but I know you understand. Okay. And I think I did this one, but I'll just make sure I did right here. Okay. So what you do, what you have now is you have, it doesn't show up very well for you, but trust me, if you use a 3.5 by 4, a 3.5 by 5 1/4 inch piece to make your pocket, you have an embossed line that you can now cut, and you can cut with your scissors, or you can cut on your paper trimmer. but you will end up with exactly the same size pocket as the second to the largest die, and it looks like this. And then what I did is I scored it right at the, I guess the apex of those three, of those two edges, and I folded it down like that, and it makes a perfect pocket. So then I took dimensionals, 1, 2, 3 dimensionals, and held it down. And then I put glue only on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides, and left the top open. So glue here, 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 and here. Then I laid it on my card, on a mat, and the mat I made from the blue card base, and it's 4 by 5 1/4. So I just glue it straight on there. And then I take a piece of white cardstock that is 1 7/8 by 3 1/2 inches. And then I just clipped the corners. Or if you have the corner dies, it's the the third from the inside, or the 4th from the outside, and you can just cut it. But you can very easily make your own using a 1 7/8 by 3 1/2 inch and just nipping the corners. And then when you stamp it, I stamped it with the stamp from inside, from the stamp set. And then what I did on the inside of the card is I angled that same stamp. And again, you don't have to use the blues. You can use something totally different depending on whatever your designer series paper stash allows you to use. So that is that card. And then I have one more card using that same technique if you don't have the corner dies. And that card looks like, where did I put it? I know I have it. Oh, maybe this is, okay. Never mind. I actually, it's a treat holder, and the treat holders look like this. Aren't they cute? And again, I have used this larger piece as a template, and I took a piece of, I think this is Night of Navy, and I think I used Misty Moonlight for these, but it doesn't matter. As long as your piece is 4 by 5, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, you'll have no problem. And again, just go in there and you're going to make your score lines. And when you make your score lines, maybe it'll show better on this. Then you're going to cut them out. And I don't want this video to be long, so anyway, yeah, you can see those better now. You can see the score lines, and you would just cut that out, and what you end up with are two pieces that look like this. Then what I did is I put them in my trimmer, and I scored them at 2 1/4 from this end. And then I flipped it around and I did 2 1/4 from this end. So then you have a little gusset piece, okay, just like this. And it's as easy as that to make these cute treat holders. I did the same thing with the designer series paper, and I just use the smaller die piece, and cut them out. And when I cut them out, then I am going to actually put these in my trimmer, and I'm going to cut at 2 1/4. So now I have a piece that is 2 1/4, and I have a piece, let's see, I'll turn this around so you can see, a piece that's 2 1/4. I have a piece that is 2 1/4, and then I have an extra piece right here that I'm going to use on the front right there. So that's how I do those. And all you have to do for this card or this treat box is then you will glue this so you have a nice even edge all the way around. And then you're going to glue one on the front. And then I flipped over this little extra piece and I glued it on the front. And then using a little extra piece of white paper that you could actually use from this little piece right here, if you don't have any extra white, I stamped friend from the set. I then used a hole punch and hole punched right here and thread ribbon through it. And then I put some treats in there. And this one, I'm currently doing Weight Watchers. So these are a 3-point Weight Watchers milk chocolate nougat, which tastes like a Milky Way bar. And very good. And then this one is actual Milky Way bar, mini. So fun size. So anyway, you could put other candies in here. You could put some lip balm in there. And there you have my projects for June of 2023. I hope you have fun. Oh, and my peeps, your envelope is in the mail with your extra bits and pieces. Look for it by the end of the week. See you on the first Friday of June in our Zoom class to make these together.